marriage. Women, make sure you know these things before stepping into a lifelong commitment. Number one, how do you manage money? Financial habits can make or break a relationship. Is the person debt heavy? Is he generous? Does he just spend frivolously? Does he save? Is he responsible? These things are very vital in the betterment and the foundation of any relationship, because you don't want to be with someone who just lives paycheck to paycheck. There's no security in that. There's no assurance in that for you and your family. And as a woman, you want to feel secured. That's the whole idea of being in a marriage. My wife wouldn't have said yes. We wouldn't have got married if she didn't trust me, if she didn't feel that she could lean on me, or she had to still be independent even though she's with her husband. That eventually will wear down the relationship, because how can you have family? How can you build on something when you don't even know the person's financial habits? You need to know this. You need to know how they manage money. Do they save for a rainy day? Do they invest? Do they put away? Or do they waste money? There's guys out there that just waste money. Like, they wear their whole money on their body. And you go in their bank, their savings, investments, it's little to zero. And then they're in a relationship, it's the kid's birthday, or you need to pay the kids tuition fee, or they need school clothes, or they need this, something's broken down in the house, the car's broken down. And they can't help. They can't assist you. They live from paycheck to paycheck. They go out every weekend. They spend money like it grows on trees. They spend money like it's coming again and again and again and again and again. Why would you want to be with someone like that? It doesn't make any sense. So know this before you get into a serious relationship and you're about to say, I do. Number two, what was your relationship like growing up with your parents? Understanding someone's family dynamics, it helps you to understand what influences them. How did they handle stress? How did they handle conflicts? Because you can tell the difference from someone who's grown up within a happy, stable home and someone who's grown up in a broken home. I've had friends that have grown up in a broken home, and I had friends that have grown up in a stable family home. The person growing up in a broken home, they were just reckless. They were not logical. They were emotional. How they handle things, it didn't make sense to a person that grew up within a stable home. Because me personally, if there's a situation, I try to use my logical mind. I try to think about solutions instead of the problem, instead of lashing out or instead of just being overwhelmed. I know how to just take a deep breath and just start from the beginning and just to simplify it as simple as possible. But there's people who handle situations so aggressively, they just flip, and they just come from a unstable background, because this influences us, whether you like to believe it or not. And there's situation and there's emotional traits within inside yourself that you don't like to admit that you have based on your upbringing. That's down for you. That's down to you to resolve in your own time. But this has a major impact. I've been in 3 serious relationships, and all 3 relationships were amazing. And they all came from stable home backgrounds. And don't get me wrong, I've slept with women who didn't come from a stable home, and I just saw the difference. I saw the difference in their attitude, the way they handle situations. They were just all over the place. And it makes sense. You never had a male positive role model. You never had a positive female role model. My mother was a saint. She made sure that we were well fed, well dressed. Our homework was done. We had an additional homework. We had after school club. We had preschool club that she would take us to. She came to my football matches. She came to my sports day. My family were engaged. I got what I wanted. I understood hard work. I understood logical and critical thinking from both parents. I handle situations in a mature way. And that allows me to bring that into a marriage. And when it's time for me to have kids, I can bring what I learned from my great parents into my new family. But when someone doesn't have that, they end up doing things that seem stupid, to put it as blunt as possible. And just make sure that the person that you're getting into a lifelong commitment with, that they come from a happy home. And even if they don't, you understand, or they understand what they lacked and how they reciprocated it. Did they read books? Did they join a community where you become a better person? Because these things are out there. And if you're doing the work to become a better person, then hey man, that's amazing. I'm really happy for you. If you have a man, I have a partner that is doing the work, that is great. But if they come from a poor background, a broken background, and they're not doing the work to heal and become a better person, that type of stuff will come up in your marriage and it can potentially break down your happy home. Or if there's any conflict, that person may just walk away. Me, I can never walk away from my family. Never. Never. The only thing that can stop me taking care of my family is death. And even in death, I'm still taking care of my family because my insurance is already laid out. But how did I know all these things? Because I saw what a happy relationship looks like growing up. Number 3, have you healed from your past relationship? Past relationships that still have wounds and you still suffer trauma from your past relationship, those will definitely come up in your marriage. Make sure that the person is healed, because if that person suffered a heartbreak, or they were betrayed, or they opened up to the person and the person just totally betrayed their trust, if they're not healed from that, they can potentially may not even trust you, even though you're absolutely trustworthy, you haven't done anything, and this person is still hurting from that previous relationship. It will come up. So just make sure that person has healed. What did they do to heal? How did they know they're healed? Did they read books? Did they seek help? Just make sure, because you don't want past issues destroying something that is beautiful in the moment. Because you're not going backwards, you're going forwards. You're moving forward. You're preparing for a great, amazing future. But if you're holding on to the past, it potentially can destroy something very precious. So make sure that person is healed. Number 4, how do you handle failure and rejection? If a man handles failure in an emotional way and they just get hurt and they walk away, they give up, they say no, they don't have no resilience, they just fold, that shows you on how they will treat you if there's conflict in a relationship. But if they treat failure head on, they learn from their mistakes, they grow, they become better, they become their better version of themselves. They decide to read books, they decide to do what they need to do to overcome that failure, then that shows you, okay, if there's a hurdle in our relationship, in our marriage, that person's not going to run the other way and just call it quits. They're going to learn from it. They can become better. Then they're going to grow, which helps the relationship develop into something beautiful and lifelong. So how does your partner handle failure? Number 5, what are your life-long-term goals? Financially, spiritually, personally, as a family. If your vision is not aligned, there is going to be resentment along the line. Simple as that. If you want kids and they don't want kids, 3-4 years down the line, you're going to be like, okay, at the beginning, I could see that this would be something that would be acceptable. But after down the line, you're like, no, I want a family. I'm getting old. My womb is drying up. I no. So make sure your goals are aligned. Make sure you talk about your goals. Make sure you talk about your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, your 15-year plan. Me and my wife talk about this regularly, before we tied the knot. We made sure our goals were aligned. We made sure that we were on the same track in terms of our religion. We made sure we were on the track in terms of that we read the Bible, we follow the Bibles, because it sets a foundation for our morals and our principles. And then we have the same ideological ideas on family. Okay, what type of school are they going to go public or going to go private school? We decided that we want to make sure that our kids go to a private school. What area we want to grow up? We want to leave the city and go to a more rural area where we have land and we can farm and have a lot more freedom without all the traffic and the noise. We made sure our goals were aligned. And if your goals are not aligned, you're just going to have conflict. So just make sure you're on the same page. This is very important, because I've seen a lot of relationships break down because their goals didn't align. They believed that they could settle, I'm just going to settle for love. Love is not enough. Love is not enough. Love is not enough. You need much more than love. You need loyalty, you need trust, you need understanding. You need to have the same vision. You need to make sure that the person you're marrying is not also just a lover, but a friend, a carer, everything. We're everything for each other. Everything. And you just need to make sure you're on the same page, because you deserve love, they deserve love, and there's everybody has someone for them. So you don't have to settle. You just need to be the best version of yourself. You need to just keep on growing, and you will find a perfect match without even looking. But you just need to focus on becoming your best version of yourself without settling, because you deserve love. And thank you very much for watching. And if you're about to tie the knot and you ticked all these boxes, congratulations.